United States President Donald Trump said he might meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin immediately to discuss the Ukraine war. The American leader's statement emerged after fighting with former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev and threatened each other with nuclear weapons. Trump said there had been a very productive negotiations in Moscow between delegates, in particular Steve Witkoff and Putin. The potential of the peak meeting of the U.S. and Russian leaders has also been discussed in a telephone call between Trump and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, who, according to senior sources in Kyiv, was attended by NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and leaders from Britain, Germany, and Finland. There is a high possibility that there will be immediate meetings, Trump told reporters at the White House on Wednesday when asked when he would meet with leaders of Ukraine and Russia. He did not give an indication where the meeting with Putin would take place. The New York Times and CNN, quoting sources who know the plan, said Trump plans to meet Putin the fastest next week, and then wants a three-way meeting with Russian leaders and Zelensky. Trump's telephone call with Zelensky occurred after Witkoff met with Putin in Moscow on the previous day for negotiations described by Kremlin as productive, with Trump's closer time to impose new sanctions for the Russian war in Ukraine. Great progress has been achieved, Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform, adding that afterwards he had given direction to several European allies. Everyone agrees that this war must end soon, and we'll try it in a few days and weeks, he said. However, a few minutes later, a senior U.S. official said that secondary sanctions are still expected to be applied in 2 days. Trump, who previously boasted he can end the conflict within 24 hours after serving, has given Russia until Friday to achieve progress towards peace or face new punishment. 3 rounds of Russian-Ukraine negotiations in Istanbul failed to achieve progress in achieving a ceasefire, with both sides still at odds in their demands. Russia has increased the attack of Wirowok aircraft and missiles against Ukraine, which is an ally of the U.S. and the European Union, to the highest record, and accelerates its progress on land. Conversations that are quite useful and constructive have occurred, Putin's aide, Yuri Ushakov, told reporters after a 3-hour meeting with Witkoff. Both of them exchanged signals about their position, added Ushakov without further explaining. Zelensky confirmed his phone call with Trump and also confirmed that European leaders had participated, even though he did not mention their names. Trump has voiced an increasing frustration of Putin in recent weeks for the unrelenting Russian attacks on Ukraine. The White House has not officially described what actions he will take against Russia, but Trump told reporters that his party planned to bring down more secondary sanctions targeting Russia's main trading partners, possibly targeting China. Previously on that day, Trump had ordered the imposition of higher tariffs for Indian goods for the purchase of Russian oil that was sustainable by New Delhi. This step aims to inhibit Russian exports, but is at risk of causing significant international disturbances. Trump said on Tuesday that he would wait for the results of Moscow's negotiations before ordering any economic sanctions. "We'll see," he told reporters. "We'll make that decision later." Without explicitly mentioning Trump's name, the Kremlin on Tuesday condemned the threat to raise tariffs on Russian trading partners as invalid. The Russian military campaign against Ukraine since February 2022 has killed tens of thousands of people, destroyed most of the country's territory, and forcing millions of people to evacuate from their homes. Moscow has demanded that Ukraine surrender more regions and withdraw U.S. support and the European Union if you want battle to be stopped. Kyiv called for a ceasefire immediately, and Zelensky last week urged his allies to encourage the regime change in Moscow. Nuclear weapons. Witkoff's visit occurred amid the increasing tension between Moscow and Washington. Trump said he had ordered the deployment of 2 nuclear submarines following online disputes with former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, and that the 2 submarines are now near the Russian border. Medvedev had previously threatened with a famous Russian semi-automatic nuclear attack system known as Dead Hand. Moscow then said that they ended the moratorium that was imposed on their own mobilization of nuclear-capable medium-range missiles, which showed that they could mobilize such weapons as a response to what they accused of being a similar mobilization of the US in the Russian attack. Emergency services reported on Wednesday that at least 2 people were killed and 12 others were injured in Russian shootings in a holiday camp in the southern region of Zaporizhzhia.